Alright, so right now what I'm going to be doing is showing you exactly how to use the ink set so you can have the best outcome. So as you can see here on the skull, I already added my solid black, which is not something I wanted to explain because it's self-explanatory that you just use the solid black to create your texture. Now what I'm going to be doing is mixing back and forth to create a 70% to 20% to 50% gray to really help me out and give it a more dimension, give it more dimension to the skull. So here we go. First thing that I'm going to be doing is dipping it in my black here, and as you can see, it is super watery here. And then as you can see, my white ink is already drying up, which is totally fine. That does not really matter because it's only the top of the ink that dries up, but inside of it, that's where the ink is to help you really mix it. So I'm gonna dip it about 5 times. So as you can see here, I'm gonna dip it in here, and you can see it's maybe like it's kind of hard to see on camera, but this is an 80% gray. And I'm gonna start with that tone to start giving me the tone that I need and start transitioning into a brighter gray. I'm gonna go back to my white now, and I'm gonna dip it another 5 times, and that's probably gonna give me a 70% gray. And you can already see that big change in there. You see that? And it allows you to really move really quickly throughout your tones to be able to navigate. So if you want to go from a 20% to an 80% gray, you can with this specific system. So I'm gonna go back to my gray now, and I'm gonna dip it 5 more times. And I'm gonna tackle this little corner right here, and you can see that. Look at that. Look at how bright that gray is. And let's just say you really like that tone. Let's just say that tone is exactly what you need. Now to maintain that tone, all you gotta do is dip it once to reload the cartridge with the same tone of gray. Look at that. It's perfect. It really gets in there, and because of the white is so thick, it really allows the skin to absorb it in a different way to be able to cover up anything. So I'm gonna dip it one more time in there for that gray that I really like. And you can dip it as much as you can one time, and it will maintain the same ink set, the same gray. So I'm gonna dip it one more time on my white. And look at that, it does not change the tone. But watch what happens if I dip it more than once. I'm gonna dip it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're gonna see that the tone is gonna change dramatically. Look at that. This looks more like a 10% gray. There it is. Now I'm gonna switch to a clean 14 round liner to use it with nothing but pure white. So you can see how bright the white really is, and because the thickness of that white, it allows me to go on top of my grays and over layer it a little bit, just so it can give me a brighter tone. And I'm gonna do the highlight on this corner here. And I'm running my machine at a 5.0 voltage. My machine, it is a 4.0 stroke. And look at how I'm gonna layer this area. And watch how the tone, this white is gonna take over. It's almost as powerful as the black. And you see how it's already taking over that gray that we added and layers it right on top of it, which that really helps to create different tones. Boom. And like I said, this is the same system that I do for every single cover up. And like I said, the inset really helps me out a lot because of the balance between the two insets. And so, like I said, this is just a small little tutorial that I did for this video, specifically covering up this tribal. So in case you have an upcoming project, now you know how I'm doing it. In later videos, I'm going to be doing more tutorials on how to use this inset with gray wash, with true grays, by using a drop system and using nothing but solid black, so you can see that this inset it benefits you in different ways, not just specific for cover-ups, but in any style you want. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have.